Hey, what's going on, y'all? Big Sarge here, host of the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, live on YouTube Monday through Friday, and co-host of the Locked On Texans podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from. All right. 1 week. Two weeks. 3 weeks. 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I've been having to say the same thing. Hey, they all count. Ugly wins count as well. Ugly wins count. They don't count in the win-loss column. They don't say ugly losses, pretty losses. Ugly wins, pretty wins. They just count the wins, right? 6 times. I had to say that because the Houston Texans are 5-1 in one-score games. They're winning ugly. And I got it. As long as you keep winning, you keep doing the same thing. But for a team who had aspirations of making at least the AFC Championship game and Super Bowl, got to get better. Once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I know the offensive line has to play better. Bobby Slowick has to call better plays. On Sunday, I know that C.J. Stroud had a great game. I'm sorry, not a great game. I know that C.J. Stroud had a very efficient game, but he looked like he was starting to see ghosts a little bit. And what I mean by that is, every time they're snapping the ball and he's constantly having to look around seeing where the pressure's coming from, he can't focus down the field. And if he can't focus down the field, you're not getting the best of C.J. Stroud. So the coaching staff, starting with head coach D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick and Chris Stroud, y'all have to do something in order to protect C.J., especially when you have these type of injuries. We know that Nico Collins is out. He's going to be out 1 more week when the Houston Texans take on the New York Jets on Thursday in New York. Quick turnaround for the Houston Texans. He's not going to be there. We don't know what the status of Stephon Diggs, who went down today with a right knee injury. He may be out. And so now you're going to ask players like Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie and even Robert Woods, veteran Robert Woods, to step up. They're going to have to be better, but you have to give CJ the time. It's fine and dandy when you're playing against a quarterback and a team, when you're playing against a quarterback like Anthony Richardson and when you're playing against a team like the Indianapolis Colts to win 23-20. You may be able to get away with that when you play the Jets. But on the latter half of your schedule, when you have to play the Lions, who blew out the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, when you have to play the Baltimore Ravens, who lost to the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, so they're going to be mad for the rest of the season. They're going to play on a different level. You have to play a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Even when you got to play a team like the Miami Dolphins, who has an explosive offense. On the latter half of your schedule, you're going to need to be playing very, very high efficient football. And that's not nothing we see now. Here's the thing. It could be that the Texans are getting all of that out of their system now, and they're going to learn from it, and they're going to get better as time goes on. Do we have any proof of that? Not yet, but it could happen. And so this Houston Texans offense has to do a better job. This Houston Texans offense has to do a better job of being more efficient, scoring more. Once again, had problems scoring in the second half. You got to be more efficient in the second half. Now, because I'm one of those people who I definitely like to finish on a good note, I don't know when, I don't know how, but some of those players on the offensive side of the ball, hey, y'all got to take the defense out. Y'all going to have to take the defense out to dinner. Like one of them good dinners, too. Like one of them $35,000 dinners. The whole defense, $50,000 dinner. One of those. The offensive linemen, they got a lot of money. Stephon Diggs, he got a lot of money. Nico even got a lot of money. I'm just saying, I don't put my hands in anybody's pockets, but we know that these players, hey man, we got the internet. I got Google. You can search their contracts, and y'all owe the defense. And you owe them a lot, and you owe them big, starting with Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. Two of the most dynamic, destructive forces on the defensive side of the ball. Those two young men play with reckless abandonment, and I feel sorry for quarterbacks who have to look to their left and to their right when Will Anderson is coming from one side and Danielle Hunter is coming from the other side. Oh, let's not forget the way that defensive line is playing as a whole. Foley Fatukasi, the way he's playing. Tim Settle Jr., and they got back to Nico Autry, who's still getting his feet up under him, but he's doing better, a whole lot better. And so that defensive line is keeping this Houston Texans team in games. They're able to help out on the backside when you have some injuries with the linebackers, when you have some injuries with the defensive backs. That defensive line is keeping them in place. Oh, one more thing. On the offensive side of the ball, hey, Joe Mixon, dog. Joe Mixon, dog. I don't think I need to say anymore. You all watched the game. You all know what he did today. You all know what he did against the Indianapolis Colts. What is he now averaging? What do you have? 102, so that's 261 divided by 2. I'm doing this math on the fly. He's averaging like 131 yards rushing against the Indianapolis Colts. When he's healthy, when he's in the game, when he's playing full games, he's a 100-yard rusher. 100 yards, 100 yards. He's going to get you that, and he runs angry. So what the Houston Texans offense needs to do is to feed off of that for right now so they can get the passing game going, get Tank Dell involved earlier, which may have to happen now with the injury to Stephon Diggs. We don't know how much longer he may be out. But the defense has stepped up. The defense is doing what they need to do. And that's something, as a Houston Texans fan, you definitely want to see. All right, before I get up out of here, hey, hear me out. Hey, dear Anthony Richardson, first of all, you all have known since the Combine, I told you, hey, I'm a fan of Anthony Richardson. I like Anthony Richardson, and I think that as time goes on, he's going to get better. He's still going through a lot. I know that his rookie year was last year, but I think he only played in 4 games in his rookie year. And so this is kind of like his rookie season, and he's been hurt this year, and he's just now getting back on the field. So I do feel with his skill set and his stature, and his athletic ability, he is going to be better. But sometimes, Anthony Richardson, you got to learn to think instead of using all of your athletic ability and your talents, right? You got to learn how, because football is a thinking man's game as well, especially from the quarterback position. You've got to be able to think, and I'm talking about specifically one play. At the end of the game, when you scrambled out of the pocket to pick up yards, you all only needed a field goal to tie the game. You scrambled out of the pocket, and instead of going out of bounds, knowing that your team did not have any timeouts, you stayed in bounds. You got to be smarter than that. You have to be smarter than that. You have to know down and distance and time. I even felt bad for you when I see you stay in bounds. The first thing I said to my colleagues were, hey, why did he stay in bounds? Why did he get out of bounds? Like, there was an opportunity for you to get out of bounds to save some of that clock and live to fight another day. I don't get it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Follow me on the ticker and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Because, you know, we do everything for the gram. Make sure you're subscribed to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show on YouTube at Big Sarge Media. And subscribe to the Liked On Texans podcast and YouTube page. Available wherever you get your podcast from. Big Sarge, I'm out.